Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to be back.
Always wonderful having you here and always wonderful learning about a topic that I think we often take for granted. We neglect, we think, oh, you know what, it's okay. And you share some very important information with us and sometimes some very surprising ones. Like I still will never forget, some people don't brush their teeth. That sticks with me all the time. Every time I brush my teeth, every morning, evening, I think, how can you not brush your teeth?
It's more common than you know. But today we're chatting about the tongue, and I want to start off with a quote by Imam Ghazali that says, "The tongue is a great endowment from Allah. Though small in size, its crime is enormous." We're not here to discuss about the crimes of the tongue or the sins of the tongue today, but we're here to discuss about the health and the conditions of the tongue. But I feel it's something nice to keep in mind.
So profound, absolutely. And you know what? It's so wonderful for us to bring things holistically in. So while we're talking on the physical aspects of the tongue, to understand also the power of the tongue.
Correct.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So tell us about the tongue. Can your tongue indicate health problems?
It can. So how your tongue looks, feels, and moves and functions can provide clues about the health of your tongue. Okay. Often the clues are pretty straightforward. For example, a painful tongue may be a sign that you drank a cup of hot coffee too fast and you burnt your tongue. Other times you might need to see a healthcare worker or a dentist to determine what the issue is. Like a swollen tongue or enlarged tongue can mean an allergic reaction or nutritional deficiency or a tumor, among other things. But it's always a good thing to always be cognizant of your teeth and your mouth, and if something is wrong, you need to be aware of it and sort it out before it becomes a bigger issue later on.
So important to pay attention to your body. And I think we keep highlighting this. So what are the symptoms then of tongue problems?
So there are a lot of symptoms that can indicate tongue problems. So we're just going to highlight the very common ones or the ones that I see every day or we see very often. And that is an enlarged or swollen tongue, sometimes trouble moving your tongue, complete or partial loss of taste, a change in the color of the tongue. It can be white, yellow, purple, red, that kind of thing. A change in your tongue's texture. So it can be smooth or covered in patches, or you can get little hair-like growths on it, or pain or soreness or a burning sensation throughout your tongue or in certain parts of your tongue.
Interesting. So go and look in the mirror, and many of my clients say, I can't do that. Do you know that?
Yeah. So they tell me to. So I say, okay, don't look at your face. Just look at your teeth.
Send them to me. I'll help them with that aspect.
Okay.
We'll do the mirror work.
Yes.
But that says a lot, right? We can't look at yourself in the mirror. But it's so important. Go right now, check your tongue out, just see if you have any of those symptoms. So what common problems also then affect the tongue?
Okay, so tongue problems or changes in your tongue may be a sign of short-term or long-term, or which is chronic conditions, right? They range in severity from simple first-degree burns, like as I mentioned, from something hot, or from eating, extremely like sensitive foods. Like some people are sensitive to foods like chili and that kind of thing, or more serious conditions like cancer. So it can range from anything. With the tongue, it may be something simple or it could be something serious. So some of the problems, the common ones that affect the tongue, is an enlarged or swollen tongue, and this is an atypically large tongue. The cause is usually an underlying condition. You could be born with it or it can be acquired over time, and the causes of that is hypothyroidism. Thyroid, a lot of people suffer with a thyroid, but if they have an underactive thyroid, then they could end up with an enlarged tongue, or you can get tumors on your tongue from cancer, and those who have Down syndrome also can have an enlarged tongue. Or you could have something called glossitis, which is having a swollen tongue due to inflammation. And some of the causes is infections, mouth injuries, hormone changes, nutritional deficiencies, a dry mouth, irritation from spicy food or smoking or tobacco, or an allergic reaction to food or medicine. The other one is a loss of taste or taste changes in the tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
I think with COVID, this was very, very common. Yeah, a lot of people
Did
lost
you
the taste.
experience it for that time? Did you have COVID firstly? Let's ask the basic
No, I
question.
didn't. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, I didn't. But I have people up until today who are still complaining
I
of.
believe
Mhm.
so. One of my clients hasn't gotten her taste back.
Yeah, unfortunately. And there was something we didn't see coming. But the complete or partial loss of taste of the tongue can be caused by injury to your taste buds. It can be a bacterial, viral, or fungal infection. Medication, if you're taking medication, then the side effects of the medication can cause taste changes. Okay, especially if you like on cancer medication like chemotherapy, also can cause changes in your taste, and nerve damage as well.
Okay. So what does it mean then if there is a change in color or texture of your tongue?
So various conditions get their names from the key symptoms or changes in your tongue's appearances. A white, yellow, or black tongue is usually a sign of poor hygiene.
Okay.
But it can also mean that there's an underlying medical condition.
Okay.
So again, I'm saying you need to become aware of what's wrong and then have it checked out to see whether I have poor hygiene, I'm just not good. A lot of people don't think to scrape their tongues or brush their tongues in the night.
Yes.
Do you know you get a special instrument called a tongue scraper that you can use?
So not just our toothbrush. I just use my toothbrush.
Yeah, not just your toothbrush, but a lot of the Indian shops also sell a tongue scraper. It's like a stainless steel or metal tongue scraper that you can use. I wasn't aware of it until someone told me.
Interesting.
But the pharmacies also sell this. So it used to be a thing where people had to also clean their tongues before. We just got out of that. That habit. So yes, if you're seeing different colors or patches in your tongue, it could either be you just have poor hygiene or other conditions. And here we're just here to highlight that today so that you can become aware and have it checked in and treated, because having a white, yellow, red tongue is not normal.
Right.
It's not a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing unless you're on chronic medication and that kind of thing. But you need to be reassured by your dental professional that hey, it's just because of that
hygiene
of the medication, of its hygiene, then you need to change your routine. So let's talk about a white tongue. This is when a white film covers your tongue or you get white patches scattered all over your tongue, and this could be a sign of thrush.
Okay.
Or like a lichen planus. But if it's something more serious like leukoplakia, then that can sometimes progress to cancer. So you need to become aware of that and treat it quickly. Yellow tongue, this is when dead skin cells build up on your tongue, causing the surface to look yellow. This is very common, even with kids, because they don't brush their tongue. Then you get something called a black hairy tongue. This is when dead skin cells or bacteria get trapped in your tongue, causing the surface to look black or brown. And it may appear like it's covered in fuzz or fur. And the causes of a black hairy tongue is poor hygiene most times. But also radiation therapy to your head and neck, and smoking, tobacco use can cause this. And then this is also common, a geographic tongue.
Okay.
This is when you have smooth red patches that appear on the skin of like your tongue, and it's surrounded by white borders. So the red patches outlined in the white resemble the borders of a map, which is why it's called a geographic tongue.
Interesting.
And a geographic tongue is common. It's not contagious. The condition is not contagious, and it's harmless.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about a red tongue.
Okay, so a red tongue may be a symptom of a variety of conditions. So whenever I see a red tongue, then you know this person might be deficient in something. And one is a folic acid deficiency and vitamin B12 deficiency. And this can also cause your tongue to feel like swollen and sore. The other one is anemia. Okay, so anemia can cause your tongue to appear red and smooth instead of bumpy and swollen, and this can also make it feel sore. Then other conditions like a pellagra, this is like due to a B3 or niacin deficiency. So whenever you see a red tongue, know there is some sort of deficiency, basically. Red or white patches on your tongue that or thickened areas that don't go away may be a sign of tongue cancer as well.
As I say, we learned so much from you. Thank you so much. I think many people are probably now going in, just sticking their tongue out and having a look to see what, where their tongue actually lies. Asma, how can tongue problems actually be treated then?
Okay, so obviously, one is medicine. Your dentist or your dental practitioner may treat it with, depending on the condition, with antifungal medication, antibiotics, or if you have an infection. Speech therapy, that if you need help with your speech, and if your swallowing may be affected due to a nerve condition affecting your tongue, you can get speech therapy. And your dental visits. Dental visits are very important, because if you have like plaque on your tongue and that kind of thing, then the dentist can advise you and help you clear it.
Indeed.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, I mean, and of course, prevention is always better
than cure. 100%.
So what would you say? How can we then reduce our risk of developing tongue problems?
Yes, you can reduce the risk of inflammation and infection by practicing good oral hygiene. Brush twice daily. I always say the minimum brush twice.
Right.
Daily, even perfect if you can use a miswak 5 times a day.
I do hope that the listeners are after Ramadan, and we can remind them, and they're going to be, whoever's going to join us next Thursday, you're going to also receive a miswak in your goodie bag, because I think that is, for me, I feel like it's a magic wand. But we understand.
Yes, it is. It makes our life much easier.
And it's such a simple sunnah.
100%. So brush your tongue, brush your teeth twice daily, scrape your tongue to remove the bacteria, get your regular dental checkups, avoid smoking and using tobacco products, because these can cause ulcers and also increase your risk of oral cancers.
Isn't that interesting?
That is
like our deen doesn't encourage us to smoke, so you must brush. Whoever smokes should brush their teeth.
As they say, everything encourages you to be the perfect version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't harm you in any way.
Absolutely. Subhanallah. Thank you so much, Asma. Wonderful having you on. We do hope you'll join us next week, Thursday. We'll chat more and let you know more.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for next week, Thursday.
You were there on our second birthday.
Yes,
right?
I was. It was really, really nice. Yeah. I think what was important about that was that aside from it being a birthday celebration, like it left everyone feeling so good. I remember everyone was just saying it was so nice. Like, as we were leaving, everyone was feeling good, and no one had anything horrible to say. And I think it's also because of the vibe you give off and the way you make everybody feel, and that's a special talent.
Oh, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for that. That's why I say join us, ladies, and soak up those positive
Yes,
vibes.
I would yeah, exactly. It leaves you with those with that happy feeling. So I think it's a good idea if everyone comes, and I'm gonna try as well, inshallah.
We would love to have you there, so we look forward to that. It was so wonderful. I met some ladies at the deli, and I was sharing this with the listeners, and one took out her phone, and you were there, so that's why I'm sharing this with you. And she says, see, I was there at your last event, and it was so wonderful to see that. It's such a beautiful memory. So it's all about creating memories, those beautiful positive vibes, and energy is contagious, so if we keep it positive, as Asma said, she noticed how people felt as they were leaving. So great. Next week, Thursday, we'll catch you then, inshallah. But until then, have yourself a lovely Jummah, an awesome weekend, inshallah.
You as well, and to your listeners as well, inshallah. Ameen.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.